Yo. Hell yeah. Let's go, let's go. Yeah. Playoffs? Come on, playoffs? Oh yeah, yeah, we are going to talk about playoffs. Oh, yeah. Alright. What up, guys? Kamish here. Well, here it is, week 13. And who would have thought at the beginning of the year that it would be this close? We're going to get into a bunch of stuff, and I'm going to get some stuff out of the way here first. Flynn, congratulations. You're taking first place in the league, regular season. Awesome job. 2 years in a row. Congratulations. Tony and Justin, you're out. Have a good one. You're not making the playoffs. Tony, you are eliminated. You are mathematically eliminated. Justin, I can't even do a probability calculation to get you in the playoffs, so I'm not going to even waste my time. You're out too. So, okay. Also, Connor, Jeremy, and Jim, you guys clinch. Congratulations, you're in the playoffs. We don't know your seeds yet, depending on what you guys do this week, but pretty much you're in. No worries if you do lose. So that leaves 4 spots left. All right. Now this is where it gets dicey, because we got the rest of the league that I didn't mention so far fighting for these 4 spots. And I know people are going to say, whoa, wait a minute. Jan and Ed, they're done. Big whoop, they just beat Jim this week. They're done. I don't care. They're sucked. They're 5-7. Jimmy Olo show, he's done. They're 5-7. Pump the brakes, guys. Because you teams that lost last week to get to 6-6, that was a bad move on your part. And I know, it's late in the season, you guys are tired. You 6-6 teams are not in that great of a situation right now. Sure, basically, point total mindful, you got to think about that. But if you win, you're in, I guess. Yeah, you can say that. But if you don't, you go into this big pool that's going to be basically a fight and a dog battle to get into the playoffs. So let me kind of explain to you guys. I'll give you a rundown here. All right, so I'm looking at these stats right now. And we got CJ plays Tony, Jeremy plays Steve, Turf Toe plays Mike D, Eli plays Rockwood, and AJ plays Brink. Jimmy Olo Show plays Jim, and Mom and Dad play Jared. Okay, so first of all, let me just say right off the bat, CJ, Rockwood, you win, you're in. Your points are good. You're going to be fine. Not an issue at all. Steve and AJ and Turf Toe and Mike D, you guys are all 6-6, great record. Your points aren't the best. They're not that great. So, granted, you have to win. If you win, you got a damn good shot at making the playoffs. And honestly, with 4 spots left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're pretty much going to win. I mean, there's 5 different games of 6s playing, but the probability of all 6s winning this week are pretty slim. So I would be safe to say if you're a 6-6 team this week and you win, you're going to make the playoffs. But like I said, if you lose, you go into this big pool. And so I want to back up and go to the Jimmy Olo Show and Mom and Dad. They're both 5-7. Now, they have a bunch of tough games this week. They're playing, Jimmy Olo Show's playing Jim, and Jared is playing Mom and Dad. Both teams are in. So will they sit their players? No one really knows. The league isn't sure about that. We don't have a policy against it, so that could happen. If that does happen, or if Jimmy Olo Show and Mom and Dad win, they're going to go to 6-7. Now, why that's important is because their point totals are pretty high. Jimmy Olo Show has the second greatest point total, and Mom and Dad are not far behind. I think they're 5. So, you 6s and 6s that don't win, that go into this bigger pool, if these two teams win, they're going to trump you with points. I'm just going to throw it out there. So, great, yeah, you're AJ, for example. Or even, you know what, we'll go to Steve, because I know Steve has low points, and so does Josh. Josh and Steve, you're 6 and 6, you look like you're sitting great. If you lose, you're not going to beat out a Jimmy Olo Show or a Mom and Dad who wins this week. Plain and simple. So, that's why I can't eliminate those 5 and 7s yet, because depending on what happens with these 6s and 6s, like I said before, every game matters. I have never seen a fantasy league where every single game in the league matters. Tony and Justin, even if you got, I know I eliminated you guys already, but Justin, you play AJ. Tony, you play CJ. If you two win, you're the big spoilers of the group, and you create chaos in the league. Absolute chaos. The commission's going to have to bring in the National Guard, because literally, I don't know what's going to happen if 6s and 6s start dropping like flies this week. So, that's the rundown. I mean, the rundown is, because Turf Toe and Mike D play each other, we know for a fact that at least one 6 and 6 is going to get in. But it's possible that all 6s and 6s, other than that, could lose. So if they lose, there's that huge pool that we've been talking about that's going to be created. So we know for a fact that the 5th spot in the league, the 5th team that makes the playoff, is going to be a 6 and 6. But that leaves 3 other spots that could just go to anybody. So, like I said before, guys, it is huge. This week is insane. I realize that you guys probably still don't completely understand the whole playoff picture, but that's what it is. You basically got 4 spots left. One's going to go to a 6 and 6, so that leaves 3 spots for everybody else, depending if they win or lose. That's pretty much it. So, I'm going to give you my predictions right now, because this is what this show is, a playoff show. We're talking about playoffs. Playoffs! Okay? So, we're going to get in, and I'm going to make some predictions right here, and I'm going to let you guys know what I think is going to happen. I mean, this is what I think is going to happen, and we'll just go with it. Okay, so CJ and Tony. CJ, I think you're going to win. I think you're going to win, and I think you're in the playoffs. So that's 1. 1 out of the 4 that we're going to fill. Steve. Steve, unfortunately, I think you're going to lose to Jeremy. So that's going to create you're going to go back into you're going to funnel back into that pool that we were talking about. Turf Toe and Mike D. This is a huge game. Huge game. You know what, JQ? I like your style. I haven't seen you in a while because you don't come down to West Virginia when everybody else does. But, JQ, I'm going with you this week. That's the second team I'm putting in out of the 4. Okay? Rock versus Eli. That's a tough game. That is a tough game. And to be perfectly honest with you, man, I'm going to take Rock. I think Rock's going to beat Eli in a close game, in a very close game. So that's my 3rd in. Now, AJ, I'll be honest with you. I don't like Justin's team, but I'm not a huge fan of yours either. So, you know, I'm gonna take Justin just to make it interesting right now. Okay, so that means that Steve, AJ, Mom and Dad, and Jimmy Olo Show are all fighting for this last spot. Okay? Jimmy Olo Show or Mom and Dad, you lose, you're out. But I think they're both going to win. I think Mom and Dad and the Jimmy Olo Show are both going to win this week. And actually, I think that's more certain than any of the other games I mentioned because, like I said, Flynn and Jim are going to sit their players. They're more than likely going to sit their players, give them a little rest for the playoffs. They're relaxing. So that's almost a guarantee. So Mom and Dad and Bill, they're going to be 6 and 7. So that means that for this last spot, you got AJ, Mom and Dad, Bill, Steve. It's going to go to Bill. Bill's going to sneak into the playoffs because of the points he's got. Now, okay, so that's my prediction, guys. So I think it's going to be Turf Toe, CJ, Rockwood, Bill. 4 teams in. Mom and Dad just barely missed the playoffs. They're the last team out. But here's where it becomes interesting, like I said before, and I'll wrap it up quick because I know I've been on here for like 11 minutes now. But now I mentioned my predictions, but if CJ were to lose, if Rockwood were to lose, if these 6 and 6s start losing, then it becomes more interesting because of the fact of the tie breaks. My parents, Jimmy Ola Show, have the points. So it is possible, not probable, but it's possible for the Jimmy Ola Show and Mom and Dad to make the playoffs with the point total that they have. But my final prediction, like I said before, is going to be Turf, CJ, Rock, Bill. Last 4 in. But like I said, 6s and 6s. Prove me wrong, and you win, you're in. So, guys, that's my playoff show, playoff predictions. It's gonna be ridiculous. It's gonna be pretty intense. I hope you guys are ready because we got some interviews coming up this week. Definitely gonna hit up. Just so you guys know in advance, I'm going to be interviewing, so stand by your phones, and I might even send you a text before I call you, just so you guys are there. CJ. I'm sorry. Steve. Turf Toe. Mike D. Rockwood. AJ. Mom and Dad. And the Jimmy Olo Show. 8 interviews. Count them 8. So, be ready by your phone. This week is huge. Pay attention. Congrats to Flynn. Congrats to the people in the playoffs. But to be perfectly honest with you, we don't care about you this week because there's a lot more interesting stuff going on. I got nothing else to say. Like I said, interviews will start tomorrow. Stay tuned. And CJ will be writing a story soon, so I'll get to my editor and I'll make sure that we got our writer out on the patrol, and he might even be contacting you too. So if you guys have got any questions for the commission, let me know. But I'll be in touch, and we'll have some good stuff up. So cheers and good luck this week, guys. Have a good one.